This episode of the 420 Travel Guide is brought to you by USAWeed.org, your go-to guide for cannabis-friendly travel. Be sure to visit USAWeed.org when you're needing any 420-friendly travel advice or lodging in the USA.
Hey everyone, welcome to the first episode of our Cannabis Tourism Podcast. I'm Tim, and I've been in the cannabis tourism industry since 2013, starting way back with Colorado High Life Tours, pretty much the very first daily cannabis tour company in Colorado. That was a great experience. So if you ever wondered what it's like to travel for weed, where it's legal, what to expect, and where an industry is headed, you're in the right place. Today we're going to talk about the evolution of cannabis tourism, the top destinations in 2025, and what the future just might hold. So let's get started, right? All right, let's start off with a little history, okay? So the cannabis tourism industry didn't just pop up overnight. I saw it firsthand when I launched Colorado High Life back in 2013, right when legalization started to hit. At that time, people had no idea what to expect, and neither did I. It was a Wild West, and calling all the different municipalities, talking to all the different sheriffs and police chiefs, it was definitely a sight to behold. Everybody was wanting to know where they could buy, if they could smoke in public, what the rules were, so it was definitely Wild West. Back then, we were running full cannabis tours. The buses were all full. We were rocking and rolling, doing dispensary visits, seeing grow operations, and then recommending all those people to those wonderful hotels that allowed them to smoke. We saw all kinds of travelers back then, from first-time smokers, which you know who you are, the guys that kind of fell out on the tour, all the way to those seasoned pros that were having me on the floor. I couldn't keep up. But here's the one thing that cannabis tourism is constantly doing, and that is changing. Yes, it's always changing, let me tell you. What worked in 2014 doesn't necessarily work anymore, right? So fast forward to today, and we got social consumption lounges in Vegas and in New York and California. Woo! Social consumption lounges. I've been waiting for them weed lounges forever. It took them forever. And then you got infused dining experiences. Once again, New York, Las Vegas, California, Colorado. Way back in the back, Colorado has nothing like that. So if you want an infused dining experience, Illinois is going to be your game. New York is going to be your game. Las Vegas and California if you want to go and have some nice, yummy cannabis dinners. Moving on to cannabis-friendly resorts, we're going to be talking about those. There's only a few here in the United States. It amazes me there's not more, but we'll go ahead and talk about that too, why there isn't more. But, all of that and more. We're going to also talk about myths and what the cannabis tourism industry is actually like. So please stay tuned. I am Timothy V, and this is the 420 Travel Guide. So let's go ahead and talk about a few things here. The early days of cannabis versus now, right? The early days of cannabis tourism versus the way it is now. Back in those days, it was easier. I'm just going to say that. It seemed to be easier. Even though I had to do a lot of work calling a lot of places, it seemed to be easier because about 4 years later, they put so many regulations and rules, it literally killed the cannabis tours in Colorado. There are a few now, but not like it used to be. It literally killed the industry. Colorado overregulated it, and bye-bye cannabis tourism. But that is what it is. Now it's changed. It's kind of moved on to other states. So now you have New York that's really rocking and rolling. You have Las Vegas is doing really good. And then, of course, California, one of the OGs in the cannabis tourism industry, doing pretty well themselves, having a few issues, but doing okay. Let's start off with Vegas. Why is Vegas such a leader now? Well, it's because they've been kind of hands-off. They haven't over-regulated it. There are quite a bit of regulations, but they're allowing cannabis lounges. Why the hell wouldn't Denver allow cannabis lounges early on? I don't know. They shot themselves in the foot. Vegas also has plenty of dispensaries, very nice dispensaries, very nice places to go. So Vegas is definitely, though, the now top dog when it comes to cannabis tourism, with New York being a very close second. New York being a new up-and-comer. I've seen a lot of things happening in New York that are looking really good. Looking at our traffic on USAWeed.org, New York is definitely an up and coming there as well. We can see search inquiries on USAWeed, and we've noticed that there's been a big uptick for search inquiries in the New York state and New York area. One thing we definitely see is people looking for cannabis chefs. So if you're a cook and you live in the New York area and you know how to infuse cannabis into your dishes, there is a great opportunity for you there. Yes, cannabis chefs in New York, very highly searched term, as well as 420 friendly lodging as well. So New York, the up and comer. Las Vegas, once again, we talked about did very good. California running third. They've been there all along. Just kind of slowly moving the needle up and up. The cannabis lounges were been there a while, but they're really taking a foothold now recently. I know when I was there about 7 years ago, that's when they were just opening up the ability to consume at the dispensaries as long as it was not open flame. And that was really cool to see that I could buy a cart and hit it up while I was in there. It was really cool to do. It was just weird because you couldn't do that in Colorado. That was like, no. You couldn't even smoke in the parking lot in Colorado. If I went and lit up a joint in the parking lot, they would have had a conniption fit. So yeah, that's kind of the way it's changed. You know, you got Illinois. Illinois is up and coming. They're kind of on the fence there. People are talking about Oklahoma. Well, we'll have to cover that in another episode. Oklahoma, who'd have thought, right? Yeah, it's just been a crazy last 10 years in the cannabis tourism industry. It's been a wild ride, especially with Amsterdam kind of falling back and with places like Thailand wanting to repeal their decisions. It's a very interesting time here, making America the #1 OG for cannabis tourism. You got to love it, right? I was hoping that Florida would have come on board. We're hoping to do a lot of moving in there in Florida, but they just couldn't get the ball across the goal line. So hopefully next year Florida can come on board with all the rest. So let's move on to where you should go in 2025. So where should cannabis travelers go here in the new year? Well, that kind of depends on what kind of experience you're looking for, right? If you want the most mature and structured cannabis scenes, then you got Colorado, you have California, and you got Las Vegas. They're going to give you the most, I guess, for things to do if you're a cannabis enthusiast. If you want something new and kind of still evolving, states like New York and New Jersey are definitely on the rise. Go check out New York. I would definitely make New York on your bucket list. Just kind of use USAWeed.org, plan out a little itinerary. We also have a few itineraries already there that you can kind of grab up and use for New York for your 420 friendly travel. So check that out. Now, internationally, Thailand has fully embraced cannabis tourism, and Germany is now slowly getting into the action. But I'm a little on the fence with Thailand. I hope to heck they don't fall back. There's about 3,000 dispensaries there now, and that would be 3,000 people that are now out of work and no way to support their family. So Thailand really needs to revisit what they're thinking about. But other than that, there's some underrated spots. Of course, you got Maine and Michigan coming on board. Michigan is doing pretty good. They had a few tours that came open and then closed down. I've noticed when it comes to cannabis tours, it's very hard business because a lot of cities and municipalities don't want that, and I can understand to a point. But if it's done responsibly, I don't think there's an issue. But just so you know, cannabis tours are a hard thing to start nowadays. They don't last very long, let me tell you. So, but I've been seeing a huge shift towards interaction, like social lounges, like places where people can interact and smoke weed and just visit with each other. So I think that's going to be a huge thing here in 2025. Is just a social aspect of cannabis. So social lounges, cannabis spas, any type of infused experience. Those are going to be what is going to lead the charge here in 2025 for cannabis tourism and the cannabis tourism industry. So make sure that if you're going to open a social lounge or a cannabis spa, you get your listing on USAWeed.org, because we have millions of hits every year of cannabis enthusiasts looking for you people that have those lounges and those spas, okay? So make sure you get a listing on USAWeed.org. They're only $140 for a whole life. Yep, whole life for $140. But anyway, so cannabis tourism sounds great, right? Sometimes not so smooth sailing, right? One of the biggest problems is overregulation, as I just stated. Denver killed it. Denver totally ruined their cannabis tourism industry. There was 4 or 5 cannabis tours running. They were all making money. We were all doing great. And then Denver decided that they wanted to put their damn fingers where they didn't belong, and they killed the industry. I think there are only 2 tours left now. And yeah, and we won't even get into that. I have a whole episode on that. But yeah, so Denver kind of killed the cannabis tourism industry there with overregulation. It's almost impossible to start a cannabis tour company there unless you're already connected in industry. It used to be the place, but thanks to licensing and all their stupid effing restrictions and social equity laws, we all had to shut down our tours. Many of us had to shut down our tours. So good job, Denver. Thank you very much for killing an industry. You started it, you were pioneering it, and then you decided just to murder all the pioneers. You're just going to murder all the pioneers. Sorry, guys. This was looking great, but we're just going to kill your businesses. And then you got other places that are coming, like Arizona. Arizona, very, very small cannabis tourism market, and it's mostly there centered in Phoenix. With the hotel there, they have a really nice 420 friendly hotel that is for cannabis travelers, and I'm drawing a blank on the name right now. I hate when I do that, but yeah, they have a really nice hotel there. You can find it on USAWeed.org. It's on the tip of my tongue and I can't remember it. But Arizona coming on board. They're down in Vegas or in Phoenix. So if you want a nice warm stay and smoke some weed, Phoenix is the place to go. So other than that, we don't really have much else to talk about in this episode. I just wanted to kind of introduce me and introduce what we'll be talking about here on the 420 Friendly Travel Guide. So closing this out, what does all this mean for cannabis tourism? Well, what does it mean? It means it's growing. It means it's evolving, and it's definitely not going away, right? The cannabis tourism industry is here to stay. USA Weed is here to stay. So if you're planning a cannabis-friendly trip, if you do your research and you know the laws, and most importantly, you enjoy the experience, that's what it's all about. So use USAWeed.org, use 420friendlybooking.com to help you research to make your cannabis-friendly vacation a wonderful, excellent time. Okay, so once again, if you want more tips on cannabis-friendly travel, check out USAWeed.org. And hey, if you like this episode, let me know what other cannabis travel topics you want me to cover. Shoot me a message, drop me a comment, or just hit me up on social. And thank you very much for tuning in. I'll catch you all on the next one. This is Timothy V with the 420 Friendly Travel Guide and USAWeed.org, wishing you all an elevated day. You guys have a great one. Bye now.